for the Onyx News. Extraterrestrials, time anomalies, dimensions, remote viewing, UFOs, UAPs, and USOs, ghostly encounters, abductions, Bigfoot, and more. Your end of the week news source for everything unexplained. Here is your host for the Onyx News Podcast, Margie K.
Good evening and welcome to Onyx News. I'm your host, Margie K, and we are live this evening. Got a good show for you tonight. I do want to mention a couple of things before we get going, and that is if it is not raining or cloudy on Monday, the 8th of April, when the solar eclipse occurs, Race Hobbs and I will be live from Mena, Arkansas, from the Board Camp Crystal Mine, and we will be doing live coverage of the eclipse. So mark your calendar for that, noon on the 8th, and we will let you know if it's cloudy or rainy. We won't be able to do it, but hopefully things will clear up for us, and we will be able to. Then just a reminder here, we do have the early bird special open right now for tickets for XCon 2024, October 11th to the 13th at the very haunted Oasis Hotel in Springfield, Missouri. So just go to onyxnetwork.com and get your registration done now. Well, you can do it the least expensive way. So that'll be until May 1st with Super Early Bird. This evening, my guest is Eric Martin. He has a background in electronics and broadcast engineering. He has studied and worked on Keylontic science and Kathara, bio-spiritual energy healing since 2009. Eric began looking into hemp with the passage of the 2014 Farm Bill, which began to legalize hemp-derived products. In 2018, he and his wife, Nancy, dedicated their lives to better health by working with hemp extraction of concentrated oil directly from the plant. In 2019, Nancy and Eric started Hopewell Farm, which creates 6 strains of oil, topical salve, CBD, Comfrey salve, and prerolls for people who smoke. Welcome to the program, Eric.
Thank you.
So glad you could join me. We met at the Journey to Truth conference, and then you actually participated in the 2023 conference last year, the XCon conference in Springfield, and
Yes.
We had some unusual things happen, which we will get to. But first, I've got to ask you, how did you get interested in hemp products?
Well, we were both, me and my wife were both drawn to as many things as we could do for her health, mainly in the beginning. She began earlier in her life having a lot of health issues. Some of it came from when she was in the military. Some of it came after that. And began developing, more and more. Currently, she still gets help from the hemp and CBD with PTSD, fibromyalgia, adrenal stress syndrome, and bad knee from the Army. So she's the main reason that we got started in this in the beginning. I had been looking at alternative health for quite a long time. Me and her both have. She had a lot of side effects with pharmaceuticals and other things that she tried, going the regular mainstream route. And it just made more sense to continue down the natural route with everything that we did. Mm-hmm. And this particular supplement has been the single most effective for her. of all of the natural supplements that we've tried for her, this has been the most effective.
Does she take it internally and then also use the salve externally?
Yes, both.
Uh-huh. Well, that's I have experience with it as well. I started using CBD products a few years ago, actually, and I've tried different brands. And by far, your brand is the most potent, and I get the most benefit from it over others. I mean, others I've tried, I wouldn't even notice anything. But with your product, like I take it in order to sleep better, which really works. I can sleep through the night now, which I hadn't been able to do for years. And
Mm-hmm.
and then I have fibromyalgia as well and some back problems, and I use that on my neck and back, and it's just amazing. The difference is incredible. How do you
Right.
account for that big difference in CBD products from different manufacturers?
Well, one thing that I'll point out to begin with is not all oils are created equal. So me and Nancy are both very health and spiritually conscious about our products and about everything that we do in our life. So part of the due diligence here comes from us being as clean and organic as we can about everything that we make. Also, taking in consideration the spiritual aspect of it, and making sure that the energy is high. We also apply as much science as we can here to create the highest potency that is detectable, by scientific methods. In this case, the third-party laboratory uses a gas chromatograph for the science geeks out there to read the actual levels of the cannabinoids and the tetrahydrocannabinoids or the THC, as well as all of the other nutrients that you get from the hemp plant.
Can you explain the difference? Because to the average person, this plant would be marijuana. So what's the difference between marijuana and hemp?
Okay, so to the normal person, somebody that is not into plants, horticulture, the whole gardening type of atmosphere, if you're not a plant geek, these plants are all going to look very similar, if not identically. Now, what you will notice on many different plants, especially when they're flowering, they're going to have what looks like a fuzz on the outside of the leaves and the stems and the blooms and so on like that. And that fuzz is actually microscopic oil droplets that are secreted on the outside of the plant. And those oil droplets are called trichomes. And they resemble the shape of a pine cone. For people that want something, here to go by, to get a visualization here. But they're also going to have a specific tint or hue and color. Some of them will look yellow, some of them will look more green, pink, blue, and so on like that. The fuzz will look that way.
Okay. So here's a little chart that you sent me.
Mm-hmm. So just to explain a little bit more about the difference between hemp and marijuana. Again, the plants are going to look very similar on this chart. The hemp looks, very similar to the marijuana. Both of them are this same species group of cannabis. The difference between hemp and marijuana is actually on paper as well as you can feel it, in that hemp is very high in cannabinoids or CBD, and very low microscopic levels of THC, tetrahydrocannabinoids. So marijuana is exactly the flip flop of that. If you want to visualize like a yin yang symbol, marijuana is very high in THC and very low microscopic levels of CBD. Now, we believe that CBD gives you the most health benefits, and the THC helps to activate the endocannabinoid system, or the inside cannabinoid system in your body. Everybody has one. If you have a spine, you have an endocannabinoid system. And what this does is this helps to regulate and balance all of the internal bodily systems, the organ system, circulatory system, nervous system. Everything gets balanced and regulated when you get the proper nutrition from the cannabis plant. Now, you can get the nutrition from both plants. However, one of them is more suited for health and wellness benefits, and the other one is suited for health and wellness benefits for more serious issues. So in this chart, what we're looking at here, see if I can try to, point. So this THC, or the blue key, and the CBD green key, or almost turquoise, and then the CBN, those are really basic nutrients that show up in your CBD extract, should be showing up in your CBD extract. If you get all three of those at least, then CB1 and CB2 receptors are activated in your body. If those two are activated, then your endocannabinoid system is fully activated and functional. It's like turning on the computer. And so then it begins to balance and regulate all of the rest of the bodily systems. So back to not all oil is created equal. Not everybody out there creates oil that's full spectrum. So that brings us to our joke here tonight. I can still hear Chris Farley, yelling on Saturday Night Live there every time I see that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But at any rate, the CBD that's out there that's not full spectrum and that's not as raw, some of them are called broad spectrum, and some of them are called isolate, that they create the oil out of. And these are stripped of some of the nutrients that the plant had to offer at the time of harvest. And why is that important? Well, God, the source of all creation, saw fit to create plants that provided a full spectrum of CBD and THC nutrients. Okay. Who are we to, meddle with that kind of combination? So what we do here at the farm is we try to filter it, for taste, but also for potency. And that's it. We don't really, get into trying to split nutrients apart from the original formula that the plant had to give at the time of harvest. So we put that, of course, into our tincture We mix that with MCT, medium chain triglycerides. All of that MCT oil is derived from organic coconuts. And so if you took a coconut and you mashed it right now, you'd get about 65% MCT. And so that's where this comes from, this particular oil. It's basically coconut oil. But it's very refined, and it just has the medium chain triglycerides. So why is that important? MCT. MCT is a very basic building block for the human body, and so because we use that to mix with here with our pure hemp crude oil, that when it gets to the digestive system and the villi, they all say, "Ooh, I want that first." That's what I need. So you get a very high ingestion rate with our oil. That coupled with third-party lab testing tells you that this hemp crude has this percentage of actual oil, cannabinoids, THC in the mixture. Okay, and so if our bottle says 2,000 milligrams of pure CBD hemp extract in the bottle, that's what's in there. And we proved that with the third-party lab test results. That says, yeah, this is how much is in there. Every dose, has this much. If you do 100% math, and this will be for the math nerds. If you do 100% math on our 2,000 milligram, let's say, and we'll do just a little bit of metric conversion. 2,000 milligrams is the same as 2 grams. Okay, so there are 2 grams of 100% CBD in every bottle. All right, but Mother Nature doesn't make everything exactly equal, exactly 100% every time. So that's why we have to, send it to the lab, get it analyzed. Then we know what to put in there and how to mix it to give you that 2,000 milligrams per bottle. If you divide that up into doses, our recommended daily dose is 1 milliliter. So how many milliliters are in a bottle? One 1 ounce bottle has 30 milliliters in a bottle. So that would last you, if you're taking one regular recommended daily dose, last you 30 days. In every dose, if you do the math in the calculator, if you take 2,000 and divide that by 30, you should be getting 66 2/3 milligrams per dose. And if you look at our certificates of analysis, you'll notice that every dose, every milliliter will contain 66 2/3 or more per dose.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the science, meets, reality here. And that's where you get the potency. Not all companies are going to say, mix it that way. Not all companies are going to put up a test result. Some do, some don't. Some put up test results that are completely erroneous. So there's all kinds of different companies out there that are creating or may not be even creating their product. Plus, they're marketing it either in above board ways or they're not. That's for the consumer to decide. I'm not trying to throw shade on any specific person here, but at the same time, if you want to do your due diligence and you really want to bring health and wellness to your customer, this is the kind of steps to take. to get there.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Now I noticed
go ahead.
that you have different, like one is 250 milligrams, one is 2,000 milligrams. How do you know which one to get? And I assume that's like per bottle. And
Yes.
then you want to take say a dose, a dropper full, but how do you know which one is for you?
Okay. So, there's a couple of ways to go about this. Um, the layman's way of going about this, if you're not spiritually inclined, and again, some people are and some people aren't. The layman's way to go about this is, if you have a lot of problems, and you want results fast, then you want to go the highest strength.
Mhm.
If you have a medium set of problems, and you want to get there fast, then you still probably want to go the highest strength. If you have a very low amount of problems that you're trying to address, health wise, then you might want to choose one of our middle of the road or the low strength, depending on your situation. And everybody at that point will have to begin taking a dose a day and see how they feel. Listen to their body, and let their body say, okay, this is not enough. If you go for 3 4 days and you're not really feeling any better, you're not really feeling any different, you're not seeing any kind of relief, help with sleep, even minor things, then chances are you're just not getting enough. So the middle strengths are 750 and are 1,000. Those are real versatile in that if you double the dose on that, it's the same as our high strength.
Mhm.
So instead of taking 1 milliliter, of course the bottle's going to run out faster, but at least you'll know if you take 2 doses,
Mhm.
whether or not the high strength is going to work for you. And again, all of this has to do with, the layman's way of going about this.
Right.
If you're spiritually inclined, um, you can cut to the chase a little faster. And I noticed that you're having a dowsing class. I believe it's tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Thanks for mentioning that. Yes, I am doing a dowsing class tomorrow.
So your
That's
viewers
another.
may or may not use dowsing on a daily basis. They may be looking to get into it, and maybe actually signed up for your class tomorrow. But dowsing is one good way of doing that. Some other people just get it intuitively from their guides, their
Yep.
spirit guides. You can you can also do muscle testing, otherwise known as kinesiology.
Yep.
And so those are some really good suggestions at cutting to the chase on all this. The good thing about cannabis in general is that cannabis is a food. It's an additive, or not an additive, but it's a nutrient that we all need on
Mhm.
a daily basis. I think that there should be a USDA recommended daily allowance of CBD and THC.
Oh, really?
That's what I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Because
yeah, there
you
should
have
be.
the
There should be.
endocannabinoid system in your body. You need to
Yeah.
feed that just as much as you need to feed, your heart, your circulatory system, your organs, your
Mhm.
digestive system, everything.
Well, what you said earlier about there being receptors in the body for
Hmm.
CBD and THC for that matter, the
Yes,
receptors wouldn't be there if we were not supposed to be taking that in. I mean, it just seems logical.
right.
Yeah.
So the big benefit here is that unlike opiates, um, cannabis will not overload the brainstem. I'm quoting from PhDs, now, but it will not overload the brainstem, and you cannot, basically OD on cannabis. It'll put you to sleep. You can take a nap.
Yeah,
but
it does help with sleep. I can guarantee that. Right.
So that's where the benefits with sleep, really come in. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, sleep is so important. I can't believe I went for so many years without sleeping, and then finally now I can, thanks to this. So I thank you for that. And we are up on a break, so we're going to take about 3 minutes here, and we'll be right back talking with Eric Martin about CBD. Hey, UFO conference enthusiasts, we've got another great event for you in 2024. The Saucers and Aliens Kansas UFO Day in Dimension G is being held in the UFO capital of Kansas, Geneseo, on July 6th. This is a fun festival in the middle of nowhere. There will be a parade, decorated yards, costumes, vendors, speakers, and a showing of the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still. Appropriately, an 8-foot-tall statue of Gort and a statue of Klaatu will be dedicated. This will be the only museum in the U.S. with these custom-made statues. If you'd like to donate to the statue project or attend the event, visit GeneseoMuseum.com. That's GENESEO Museum.com. Be sure to bring your camera when you attend the event. That's GeneseoMuseum.com.
The Onyx Network presents a health and wellness spiritually based brand of hemp-derived CBD products made by Hopewell Farm in Harrogate, Tennessee. We apply our Kathara energy work with all of our plants and products. Our products made in small batches with only 2 ingredients of pure hemp, full-spectrum crude oil, and coconut-derived MCT oil. Third-party lab tested for potency and legal THC levels with 6 strengths of 1 ounce oil to choose from. Know what you're buying and get what you pay for from Hopewell Farm. Applied directly to a specific area, Hopewell Farm topical salve in 1 ounce and ½ ounce sizes made with pure hemp crude oil, Comfrey extract, and all natural ingredients. Find the Hopewell Farm link and coupon code on the Onyx Network website at onyxnetwork.com. That's onyxnetwork.com.
This is Margie K, and I'd like to say thank you to all of our KUNX show hosts, staff, listeners, and viewers for making us number 1 on Paranormal Talk Radio. we're back with Next News. I'm your host, Margie K, and my guest today is Eric Martin. I do want to mention one thing because he reminded me of it just a second ago. I am teaching a master dowsing workshop tomorrow, 2:00 p.m. Central Time. You can do this online on Zoom. If you're interested, go to margiek.com and get all the info about that. Eric, is it true that our first flag was made out of hemp?
Yes. Betsy Ross had the hemp fabric to make the original Betsy Ross flag out of.
Wow.
And
Is
I've got a
that the
picture of
original
that.
flag in that picture? Is that the
The
original?
original.
Wow. That's just
That's my
remarkable.
understanding.
So hemp is very strong, and I know it's used for other things. I know it's used for rope, and I'm sure a lot of other things. Are you going to be getting into making products like that, or are you just going to stick with the CBD?
Right now we're doing the oil and the salve mainly, and then of course the pre-rolls. But yes, we do want to expand into the fiber part of this. Hemp can be used to make plastics, fabrics. You know, there was a car, I believe, at one point that was made out of hemp. There was some people that were doing a tour with that car at one point.
Huh.
Basically anything that they make out of petroleum can be made out of hemp.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So when did it become legal in your state?
So in 2014, the first federal farm bill was passed, including the literature and the law concerning hemp and legalization of it. And so the 2014 farm bill kicked everything off. And the first state, I believe, to lead the charge on that was Kentucky. And then Tennessee joined that same year, a little bit later. And so Tennessee has its own hemp program. Many states have adopted, different variations of a hemp program since then. And then 4 years later, in 2018, they passed another farm bill to basically shore up and reinforce all of the legalization of hemp and hemp products.
So is this highly regulated? Do they come check on you? Does the state come check on your progress?
Yes, there's a licensing process for the growth as well as the production of hemp products.
Okay. So sounds like a lot of work, actually. Sounds like you're busy all the time.
On that, there's a separate license in Tennessee, just for instance, for growing the plants. Then there's a completely separate license, for the extraction and the creation of consumables. And so you have to maintain more of a food grade type facility for the creation of hemp products that are consumable.
Is there a shelf life on CBD oils?
So on our oil, the clock starts ticking at the moment that we mix with the MCT. Mm-hmm. So let me back up just a little bit and say that on the hemp extract, once we get it into a liquid type form and then remove the solvent, Once we remove that from the equation, and you're left with absolutely pure hemp oil that came off of the plant, directly off the plant, that particular oil will set up very viscous and thick, and eventually it will crystallize and basically has many of the same characteristics as honey.
Yeah, I was just
And
going to say, sounds like honey.
so it resembles that a lot, and what will end up happening on the crude itself. My theory is, and I don't know if anybody has actually scientifically tested this, litmus test, so to speak, on this, but my theory is that if this is kept in a cool, dry, dark place, then it'll keep like honey for 3,000 years.
Oh my!
So I've seen the potency not change, over time, with crude batches that I've done. So it's as far as the crude oil itself, it's very resilient. Now, back to the explanation on the MCT. Once we mix it with the MCT, the clock starts ticking, and you have between 2.5 and 3 years of shelf life on each bottle.
Oh, that's still a long time. That's
well, if
surely
you're going to tick it up in 30 days. It's
yeah. So.
But if you're going to put it on the shelf and let it sit, then you only have that much time before it begins to degrade. Now, as far as expiration on this, unless you leave it in direct sunlight or you leave it open, you should not see any kind of spoilage on it, even past the 2.5 to 3 year mark. The only difference you're going to see is a degradation of the actual levels of the CBD and the THC. The potency will begin to decrease after that 2.5 to 3 year mark.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get to the paranormal part. I know people want to hear this. So for those who were not at XCon last year, this is what happened. I was doing a talk about winged aliens, talking about my book, Winged Aliens, and part of that covers Mothman. And as I started talking about Mothman, I felt the presence to my left on the stage of a Mothman, but I didn't say anything. Okay. But then Michelle Roos came up, and also right at the same time, all of my computer connections went down. Nothing would show up on the screen anymore, just like shut down instantly. So Michelle came up. She had a spray with her. She sprayed a spray. She said, Margie, you do know that there's a Mothman standing right behind you? And I said, yes, I do know that. So she says, okay. So she goes off the stage. I finished the talk, went down off the stage, and I felt it in my energy field, not in it, but just outside my energy field. It was like hanging out and followed me. And it stayed there. I was talking to somebody at a table, and you came over with some CBD oil, put some under my tongue. And just in a few seconds later, I decided I need to talk to you about something. So I followed you over to your table and walked across the room. It's a big room. So I'm walking across the room. I sensed this Mothman there. About halfway through, he just backed up and went off to the right and went away. So I went over to your table and I said, you need to call this anti-Mothman CBD because it just got rid of this creature. And so my left brain kicked in, and I'm thinking, why did that happen? Well, it was because of the vibration, the energy of that CBD oil. Very super high energy. And that's when I realized how much different yours was from anybody else's that at least that I've been exposed to. Super high energy. And you said, you put energy into the plants. And I think that's that little extra mojo, if you want to call it that, that's going on there.
Yeah, I'll interject for just a moment. I'll interject that yes, I've worked with the Kathara biospiritual healing energy healing modality since 2009. And so we do energy work with our plants and with our products. And we believe that, additional energy signatures can be added to natural products, much like custom homeopathy is added to a lot of products. And so in this case, I do that type of energy work with the products and the plants, and I try to keep the potency as high as possible, energetically, spiritually, as well as working the science end of it, and maintaining a clean environment and using the best products I can get my hands on, to do this processing.
Well, I can tell, for one, and I'm very sensitive to energy. So I think what you're doing is just great. Can you tell me a little bit about the difference between full spectrum versus broad spectrum and isolate?
Okay. So on full spectrum, if you want to look at this on a horizontal graph, full spectrum is all the way across. Okay, if you're looking at it on a vertical graph, it's all the way up. But what this means is the plant has a certain amount of vitamins, nutrients, minerals, everything that plant used in its lifespan to maintain its life. And so if you're not getting all of that, that help to maintain its life, how can you expect to get it into your body what you need to maintain your life? I'm kind of simplifying things a lot here, but that's where this actually goes. And so on broad spectrum, they do a certain amount of filtration and chemically on the chemical level. They're splitting hairs here and removing things that are important. There are products out there that are 0% THC and THC free, and those products are missing part of the equation. If we go back to the chart that you were showing earlier, where we have the keys and the receptors, if you take one of those keys out of the equation, that chart's there. If you take one of those keys out, the CBN, or you take the CBD out, or you take the THC out, CB1 or CB2 receptor will not fire, will not activate, and you're not getting what you pay for. You're not getting what God, the source of all creation, intended from the plan. And
so they're messing with Mother Nature,
right?
Basically.
Yep.
Yeah. So, bottom line is, you want full spectrum.
That's a personal, professional opinion. Yes, full spectrum is the only way to go. And there are companies out there that will even claim full spectrum, and it doesn't look the same.
Yeah, and the problem is that the consumer has no way of testing it, no way of knowing exactly what they're getting. So it's really important to go to a trusted company to get your products.
Well, the
Just
license,
like anything else.
that we get from the state of Tennessee is important, but even more important is the certificate of analysis. It's just as much the license as what the state of Tennessee issues, because in our case, the proof is in the pudding. It's either there or it's not. So on the chart that you're showing, all of this green portion. See if I can get my foot up here. Right, all of this green portion up here on this chart goes either partially or completely away when they strip all of the THC out and or create rods from the product.
Eric, you're cutting out pretty bad. Maybe pull that a little bit closer to you. I'm not sure if that would help.
All right, I'll lean in here a little bit.
Okay.
See if this helps a little bit.
I think that might help. Yes.
Better.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. So again, on this particular chart, on a full spectrum, you can expect to get all these benefits. On a broad spectrum, you can expect to get part of these benefits. And on a zero THC or THC free, you can expect to get zero of these benefits, or a very small amount.
Yeah, you're cutting out pretty bad. I think we're going to probably have to cut it off. Unfortunately, we'll have to visit with you again. Again, your wife works with you every day, and
Yes.
she's a testament to the product. Absolutely. And
Right.
So if people want to get the product, go to hopewellfarmtn.com and then use the promo code KUNX10 in order to get 10% off. And is that good for all of the products, Eric?
Yes.
So you the CBD oil, the salves, what are all of the products that you carry?
Yes, so we have 3 different products that we're creating right now. The 6 different strengths of oil, the topical salve in 2 sizes, and the pearls for people who smoke. Then we plan on adding additional items here. For now, this is all we're able to produce on a regular basis. So with the KUNX10, you can get 10% off on all products. Give everything a try. We do have veteran discounts for military and vets, and we have free shipping offer. It's a standing offer, and it will stack with our coupons as long as you spend $200 or more on your purchase. That's post coupon.
Okay. And you will be at the Journey to Truth conference in May and at XCon in October. So,
looking forward to October.
Me too.
And Journey to Truth.
Absolutely. Both are really good. I can tell you, both conferences are going to be really good.
And I do plan on having a limited edition anti-Mothman CBD. We're going to have some of those bottles with the anti-Mothman label there.
That is so cool. I'm so glad you're doing that. Because it really works. So there's more reasons to use that particular CBD than what might meet the eye, right? You can get rid of negative energies with it as well. So I think that's pretty good. All right, Eric, thank you so much for being with me. Sorry we had these little sound problems here. and I'm having more sound problems here now. But I appreciate your time, and I'll be talking to you soon.
Well, thank you, Margie. Always a pleasure, and look forward to doing more and creating more in the near future.
Yep, we will. Yes, indeed. Thanks, Eric. Okay. Well, yeah, sorry for the sound problems at the end of that, but you get the idea. This is really important. This is serious stuff. It works. I am a testament to that because I did try a number of CBD products, like I said, for sleep and fibromyalgia and back problems. I've been in 3 major accidents, back problems forever. And I've tried all kinds of things. I don't like to take drugs. I don't like to take pain pills. And I started taking this CBD, and I actually get sleep now. It's amazing. And it's a painkiller. It really works. So I highly recommend it. I don't promote a lot of things, but this really works. So, all right, folks, I know this was a little bit of a stretch outside of my norm, but we did throw in some paranormal there with the anti-Mothman CBD. So if you just want to get rid of some negative energy, grab some of the CBD, put some under your tongue, and it'll be gone. It'll just zap away. All right, folks, see you here again next week. This is Margie K with Onyx News.